Okay, I might have said in the description that this route today was relatively flat. There is one exception. For my money, Castrojeriz is one lovely village. If I have any regrets, it's not being able to stay longer. See, someone else agrees. Unfortunately, we have a hotel reservation awaiting us in Frómista. So we continue for about 2 kilometers where we cross the Rio Odria. Here, even something as prosaic as this flat landscape has a backstory worth mentioning. We're now on a restored Roman-era road. Well, the Romans were nothing if not industrious. This area is marshy in places, and they brought in thousands of tons of stone to create a dry causeway. This road was part of a huge network built more than 2,000 years ago. We're talking 10,500 kilometers in what was known as Iberia. The roads are mostly between 6 and 8 meters wide, straight, and almost indestructible. Most of them were paved over with asphalt. Although the Roman routes are handy for navigating the Camino, they envisioned more of a communications web and a way to move troops from one hotspot to the other. After all, they were the occupiers, and they met a lot of resistance from the locals. Soon we start uphill for 1.5 kilometers. I'm not going to candy coat this. It does get steep in places. Although, as with most climbs, the effort is softened a bit by the views into the farmland below us. Okay, it's actually not so bad. And the top, called Alto de Mataleras, pops up faster than you might expect. From here, we head down a steep grade to where the road eases for the rest of the day, gently undulating through the fields. After about 10.5 kilometers since leaving Castrojeriz, there's San Nicolas Chapel. You can find water here, and if you stay at the albergue, they offer a foot washing ritual. A short distance from here, we cross the Rio Pisuerga. Believe it or not, the river's source is a glacier in the Cantabrian Mountains. Yeah, who knew Spain had glaciers? And unlike a lot of rivers we cross that are mere dribbles, this one is dammed upstream and the water level controlled. Also, it has a pretty cool looking bridge. Past the river, we enter Provincia de Palencia. More than 100 villages in the province are occupied by less than 200 people. And one of those is Itero de Vega. Walking through it makes me think the only people here are Camino travelers. Some getting a mid-morning nap. The route continues along a lightly traveled dirt road, where the scenes are mostly agricultural. In 2 kilometers, we cross the Pisuerga Canal, which waters all this farmland. I think it's safe to say the crops here would not survive without that irrigation. The Camino ambles through 8 kilometers of field after field. While this walk to some might prove the Meseta's advertised tedium, I found the walk relaxing, even beautiful in places.
Hola, hola. Buen camino.
By this point, you will have noticed there's no shortage of advertising along the way. In this case, it precedes Boadilla del Camino. One bustling place here is a rather nice bar attached to an albergue. After a brownie and cola zero, we hike along another dirt road, which takes us to the Canal de Castilla. I have to say, the canal is a lovely addition to the Meseta scenery. It's 207 kilometers, took nearly 100 years to build, and it was intended to move wheat from Castile to the harbor in Santander, where it would be distributed to other markets. Now, after all that work that went into it, the canals were only used for barge traffic maybe 20 years before railroads took over moving goods. Now it's used for irrigation. If nothing else, the town we're staying at tonight, Frómista, was really down on its luck until the water came to its fields. And 6 kilometers since Boadilla, we come to Frómista, where there are 4 albergues and 5 hotels.